so looking at what we have going on here, I might actually make one change before we get started here, which is, again, play more lands, play more lands, play more lands. So this is a little bit bigger version of blue-black that has trimmed some of the threats to fit in Chemister's Insight. There's less Doom Whisperers here. I'm actually going to cut one of these Chemister's Insight and just put a 25th land in the deck. Just play, cast your spells, chat. Don't die to not casting your spells. I think casting your spells is very, very important, and especially when there are quality utility lands in the format, casting your spells is even more important than anything else. What's the clear best deck in Modern, in my opinion? Probably Humans. Humans has the tools to be competitive in most spots. Probably has a decent average win percentage against most things. Does this deck have the same problem with Search not finding a finisher as the Grixis deck? Yeah, basically. I'm not a huge fan of searching these archetypes in general. I guess this deck has some more draw spells that you could draw into, so like it can find you a card that finds you a win condition, but that's still kind of narrow. Yeah, creature lands are utility lands. Creature lands, Horizon Canopies, Ghost Quarters, Field of Runes, all of these things are utility lands that add consistency to your deck. I think Assassin's Trophy is playable in both of these formats, and it's nothing to write home about. I think all the people that were losing their mind about Assassin's Trophy in either direction are kind of idiots, and you should just, like, take a moderate approach to it. It's playable in Modern, it's playable in Standard. The drawback Assassin's Trophy has in Standard is more represented because people are curving out bigger in Standard, but I think the card's definitely very reasonable in this format. That's a lot of things. All right, I guess I'm just like taking Fine Broker here, right? I think I'm getting rid of the cast down. Oh, I guess they can Fine Broker the Fine Broker here, yo dog. I just like don't have a good take there, like, right? It's like a quality yo dog moment. They drew Contempt, that's brutal. Take another. Oh, I can bin the Blood Operative and then draw it here. If you surveil Blood Operative, you can draw it with the surveil. So fun facts with Jeff Hoagland. I don't think I've ever played Zombie Hunt on stream before. Yeah, I feel like we're pretty far behind here. I feel like the fact that like they're gonna just like dome us the next 2 turns. We're pretty dead here. Teferi is definitely busted. Marty with the $1 donation. Open your flippin' packs. All right, will do. Stroke is great here. I never know how I feel about Ritual of Soot in a matchup like this. I feel like some of them are probably okay. Some Soots are probably fine for, like, cleanup. Yeah, when Jade like picks up 2 cards, it's really good. That card's just really good in general, right? Like it provides selection and card advantage. That hand's like not spectacular, but it's definitely a keep, right? If you aren't interested in playing a video game, Arena is definitely not for you. This is not your father's slideshow at Magic the Gathering. Hey, Lashway, thank you for the 7-month resub there. Hey, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Jade Light Ranger. You can share, you just have to come get it yourself. I'm all for sharing, I just don't pay shipping. Haha. Nice card, opponent. Had to discard a card. Cast Divination and then had to discard. Neener, neener. Yep. Death Gorge Scavenger. Well, I'm glad I'm picking Blood Operative back up next turn. And this hand, I think, is kind of a great example why I think cutting Doom Whisper from this archetype is some nonsense. So the last iteration of this deck I played had 4 copies of Doom Whisper in it, and I think you really just want max copies of this card. I think not playing all the copies of Doom Whisper you can get your hands on is a pretty big mistake. Why is Cast Down seeing more play than Walk the Plank? Walk the Plank is black, right? Black's the reason. Oh, sorcery. Sorcery is a huge reason. That card, yeah, I think Cast Down's much better than that card. Both instant and easier to cast. I mean, well, okay, I guess. Yeah, this card is also like, people talk about things like Carnage Tyrant being so tough for decks like this. Like, Doom Whisper is an answer to Carnage Tyrant. It just trades in combat. Just like, yo dog, alright, trade with your thing. Blood Operative's just absurd in these matchups, by the way. It's very, very good. It, like, lifelinks back to pay for itself when you pick it back up. It pressures their graveyard. These matchups for pressuring their graveyard is relevant. It forces your mid-range opponents to leave cards like Moment of Craving in their deck against you. Like what, proxy damage? What are the reasonable answers to Carnage Tyrant? Other than Doom Whisperer? What are the ones you're thinking of? You have like Death Touch things, I guess? If they're empty-handed is kind of a loose approximation. Let's take a peek at what's going on top of my deck here. I know they have another Moment of Craving in hand. I am not interested in either of those. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like jam, welcome to the Space Jam, just like 6U and then 12U next turn. Which again, just like, this is why you should have 4 of this card in your deck. Just like games like this, you just like run away with it. Yep, yeah, we're playing best of 3 currently. What do you think of replacing Search with 2 Eldest Reborn? I think I would get to 4 Doom Whisper before that. If you want my preferred blue-black list, you can look back on the stuff we've done on, look back on the stuff that we streamed before. We're gonna play a few matches here with this submission, but I feel like adding Chemist's Insight to this archetype is searching to try and solve an issue that this deck doesn't have. Like, Chemist's Insight is a card that allows you to grind extra, and on the back of Disinformation Campaign, and Blood Operatives, this archetype already grinds really well, right? And that's one of the things that we talk about pretty consistently on the channel is when you want to make a change to a deck list that you're looking at, you want to be fixing issues that you've experienced with that deck. And an issue I haven't experienced with this deck is I need more ways to grind out card advantage. Nightveil Predator was really impressive in the Grixis midrange deck we played before this one. I was pretty thoroughly impressed. Yeah, $10 for subscribers. All the details on how my donation deck system works can be found here on my website, bit.ly/HugelSubmit for short. JeffHogland.com otherwise. It seems fine. Like, not impressive, but fine. I would love a Guildgate on one, thank you. Thank you very much. Yep. Found. I prefer mission briefing over search. Since you don't really need the search, have you considered something like that? I don't think I really, again, like, I feel like these cards that you're searching for are just like things that aren't solving problems that you really have. I always love how other people, and there's something, this is just something people do in general, it's not even just Magic players, like how other people like to dictate what other people's time should be worth, what other people's money should be worth. It's okay for different people to evaluate time and money at different rates, and just because somebody does something that you don't think is worthwhile doesn't mean you need to crap on them. I think I just have to take the Fine Broker, right? Because otherwise I just pick the Tyrant back up. I don't need a tapped land, I don't think. Next turn, we're going to go Swamp Ritual of Soot. Making the command exclamation point wine sounds good. That other wine command is really old, obviously. I am in for another Thought Erasure, right? So keep that one on top, because next turn, so they can't play Carnage Tyrant this next turn, so I could Ritual of Soot, clear the board out here, and then next turn I can actually Thought Erasure, plus potentially hold up Sinister Sabotage if I rip out untapped blue source here. Which would be nice. In that one. Double Erasure, sign me up. And now they have this Memorial to Folly. They have this Memorial to Folly here. So they are going to get to pick the Carnage Tyrant back up, but like I have the Doom Whisperer long term for that, right? Someone asked for a reasonable way to deal with CT Isolated Tower. I'm going to play this Whisper out, right? They draw Doomblade, I feel a little bit bad, but other than that, we'll be in a pretty good spot here. I don't really have spare health to be paying here, so I'm just going to pass back. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and pay health. I'm a liar. Can I afford to pay more health here? I think so. So if I Disinformation Campaign, I can hit and I hit an untapped land. I get to play the Blood Operative here as well. I could also just like Doom Whisper, trade with the Tyrant, Contempt the Find Broker. I get to take a card out of their hand though with the Disinformation Campaign. I think I'm gonna risk it. All right, cast down's a good draw here. Cast down means I get to trade plus kill this still, which is okay for me. Ends the beats. Yeah. Yep. And again, like Chemist's Insight, Search for Azcanta, just like cards like in this green-black matchup, I feel like when I'm losing the green-black matchup with this blue-black archetype, I'm losing it because they get under me as opposed to them outgrinding me. So I think adding more cards like Chemist's Insight into this deck is just like, again, kind of focusing on fixing a problem that the archetype doesn't really have. I mean, any land is good there, cast down is good there, and like the upside to hitting a land there is pretty huge. Kind of in a spot where we were choked on resource. I needed to get to more resources to put myself in a position to win the game. It's one of those, are we playing to win the game or are we playing to not lose the game? I'm gonna make a note to open packs after this match. So like, I'm arguably like the king of early concessions, but my favorite is when I concede a game and people are like, why'd you concede? Like, you're literally dead on board. I don't understand. Why did they concede? Well, I was dead on board, you see. What does Argyl's Bloodfast do for this deck? What issue does this deck have that Argyl's Bloodfast is solving? You need a mythic wild card to craft Planeswalker cards. Planeswalker cards are mythics, not rares. I think I just played Disinformation Campaign here. This thing's just so big. If I had a black source, I would have just played Blood Operative here. And again, this game's just like a really good example of, I feel like the way I'm losing this matchup has nothing to do with card advantage, has everything to do with them killing me. I just hope to not die here. Haven't been a huge fan of Sinister Sabotage either, if I'm being honest. This archetype, when we've been playing it, feels a lot to me like a tap-out control deck, which just makes Sinister Sabotage kind of mediocre. Yeah, I definitely prefer copies of Ritual of Soot in the main deck as well. I think Ritual of Soot's a very reasonable inclusion in a deck like this. In fact, this might be the last match we play with this configuration. Playing just like bad versions of a deck that like I have some thoughts and opinions on. Maybe we'll just like play a couple of games with my preferred configuration after this. Yeah, Arena runs fine using line staging on Linux. Wine is not an emulator. I'm just gonna go ahead. I guess we get closer to being an optimal build post-board here, but and we can take a look at what my preferred configuration of blue-black is after this, and talk about why, and play some games with it. I wonder if Entrancing Melody's okay here. It's probably fine. Because I'm debating getting into Arena. When you craft a card from wild cards, the card get permanently added to your collection. No, it's permanently added to your collection, McCullough. Your collection you can sort out and use through all your different decks. Yeah, wine is a recursive acronym. Yeah, 1,000 Year Storm is gonna be what we're gonna play after this. All right, I mean this fight is really good. It's really good, Deezer. Just fantastic. We'll see. I really hope they're not lazy. If they're lazy and just like make it start at Kaladesh, I think that would be really bad. I don't really want to play a format that starts at Kaladesh. I hope hopefully they like backcode a small bit. Let's play a build that's a little bit more trim. No, I think Blood Operative is great. I think you need to actually kill people. I think one of the reasons why blue-black can be good, and this is actually, the blue-black Operative deck's a deck that I talk about in my article on Cool Stuff Inc. tomorrow. Let's open the packs really quick. I have a pack. I have one pack. Open a pack. Look at that. Steam Cannon. More common and uncommon wild cards. They need lots of those. All right. Blue-black Operative. If your wall of text is too far, there is a character limit for Twitch chat. So this is my preferred iteration of blue-black Operative, blue-black Disinformation Campaign, whatever you want to call it. You can see I've got 4 Doom Whisperers here. I've got a copy of Eldest Reborn. I've got no searches for Azcanta. You note that I'm only playing 24 lands in this build, but you'll also note I'm on the full 4 copies of Discovery Dispersal. I got 3 Ritual of Soots in my main deck. As far as the sideboard goes, got a lot of good, clean, trim things to shore up a lot of different various matchups. Let's play a match or two with my preferred configuration here. What is the Vault? So the Vault is their current solution to the 5th card problem, and it's not their permanent solution because it's bad, and they know it's bad, and they're fixing it. So basically, every time you open a fifth copy of a card, it turns into a sliver of progress towards your Vault, and when you've opened enough 5th copies of cards, your Vault turns into a small number of wild cards for you. I have so many wild cards, I've opened a lot of booster packs. Every time somebody submits a deck list that I don't have cards to play, and I'm out of wild cards, I give Wizards of the Coast $108. And then I turn that $108 into gems for booster packs. I like 4 Disinformation Campaign. I think especially in a field of black-green, 4 Disinformation Campaign is great. I think you get to grind a lot of these decks into the ground with it pretty efficiently. Even if Arena is well coded and well designed, it would be incredibly difficult to add a decade's worth of cards to it. It would be a lot of work. If you thought about making a rank up only stream, what's the purpose of that, right? Like, I stream to pay my bills, so like, I don't really ranking up doesn't pay my bills. Playing decks that people send me dollars to play pays my bills. He's been ionized. Yeah, and that's another thing too. At once upon a time, they started working. Once upon a time, the untapped land. Come on, untapped land. Ayo. So I get to do this. I get to do Doom Whisper, and then Doom Whisper is gonna buy back my Blood Operative and my Disinformation Campaign. Once upon a time, they started working together where the digital team started working with the card design team. So like cards from a certain point forward are much easier to implement in digital on average. Also, like, people keep talking about, like, wanting Modern on here, and I think this is something people are going to quickly realize that they maybe haven't been aware of. Modern has a lot of matches that make it kind of a really medium format, but the flip side of that is it's just been so long since we had a genuinely good standard format that people have forgotten what a really sweet format looks like. I think, and honestly, I think there's other people who just like have literally never played a format that I would consider really awesome, which is sad in a way. I kind of want to draw a land here, right? And I think there's a lot of potential for a new non-rotating format to exist. I think Arena can be successful without ever getting Modern, is the TLDR of what I was trying to get at there. I think it is possible for Arena to be successful and not include Modern. I think the only reason Modern, the primary reason Modern is as popular as it is has nothing to do with the quality of the gameplay that it generates on average. It's simply that popular for the fact that people really love non-rotating formats. They just want to play Magic to play Magic. And Modern lets them do that and lets them play the decks that they love. You see, ever playing Modern with the decks gets supremely more popular. I don't know, it depends on what I enjoy. Like, if I'm enjoying what I'm playing, I'm a better content producer, right? So like, if the new format is something that I really love and Modern is medium, then we'll play a new format. If the new format is not great, Modern's great, we'll keep playing Modern, right? I think that's a big part of it, honestly, Johnny. I think that the fact that it's like the cheapest non-rotating format is a big deal. Do I just smash with both of these? Like, if their last cards settle the wreckage, I'm okay with that, right? Just like I can use the lands. Yeah, I guess I should be exiling instants and sorceries. I also have copies of, what's it called in my deck? I have copies of Eldest Reborn. Oh, they don't even have, no, they have double white, right? They have Sacred Foundries. Don't need that. Do want that. I'm not gonna go to 3 here, obviously. So I'm gonna decline this Blood Operative trigger. I'm gonna Disinformation Campaign it the last card out of their hand. Yeah, Lenster, but I think a new format might even be able to do that arguably better than Modern does. I think the only reason Modern does that better than Legacy, but I think an even lower powered format than Modern, like the lower power level a format has, the more playable cards that format will encompass is basically what it comes down to. Because like when the barrier to entry for a new card to be playable is lower, you'll have more cards will be able to surpass that barrier, right? I think Saffron Allah's post was either intentionally or accidentally dishonest, and it was a really bad take. I think the idea that Arena can't offer a competitive setting is nonsense, and I think expecting them to rush into making it competitive when they have Magic Online to serve as a competitive thing in the meantime is silly. You should look at Diva's Twitter. Diva's Twitter has lots of good deck lists. Whizzlebee with the $35 donation. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. I'll be happy to get that added to the queue after I'm done streaming today. Welcome. I'm gonna end step Moment of Craving here, just like game 2. And I can actually double Contempt next turn and kill them. Thanks, Black. I appreciate that. Alright, control. Disdainful Stroke is great. Plaguecrafter's actually good here. Duress is good, obviously. Then we get to Eldest Reborn is fine. Then we get to trim a bunch of these cards that are kind of medium, like Ritual of Soot, like Cast Down, like Moment of Craving. Is that at 62? So there's no way to tell how many total cards are in my deck in this view, which is annoying. It's probably a Chupacabra out matchup. Chupacabra's like good against Niv, but I have Contempt, Plaguecrafter, and Eldest Reborn against Niv, so I think that's fine. How'd the Esper... We haven't played an Esper deck today, Fancy Penguin. Did you mean the Grixis deck? We played a Grixis deck. Blood Operative is very good in this matchup, I concur. The best way, I know you don't really play UX Prison decks anymore, but I am building it for my LGS and wanted your thoughts on adding one prototype portal to make copies of our key artifacts because they end up getting stuck in our hand because of Chalice. I don't know, Red. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that card does offhand. No, I don't want Dream Eater because I think my opponent probably keeps Lightning Strike in post-board against me because they need ways to kill Blood Operative. So like trading my 6-mana card for their 2-mana removal spell really sucks. And like the upside on the Dream Eater is pretty low. They really are, Fenir. There is a huge, huge fear of change in progress. Especially when people are like the people are like, well, it can't be good software, it's Magic, right? It's just like, they've been beaten down so much and for so long that they're terrified of what could be good. I think I'm bidding both of these. I'm kind of looking for a discard spell here. So like I could have just jammed the Disinformation Campaign there, but I think there's a good chance they have a negate or a 3-mana counter spell. So I'm kind of looking for like a Duress or a Thought Erasure so I can kind of poke a hole in their shield before I slam the Disinformation Campaign. I don't really want another Discovery, or do I? No, I don't think so. I do want a Disdainful Stroke, however. This card's very good in these matchups. Like, being able to stroke a Teferi here would be absurd. Is Plaguecrafter for the discard? For the discard enough? I don't know what you mean. No. Oh, am I just like playing it to Ravens grind them? No, that's not. This card is here to kill Niv Mizzets and Planeswalkers. Crackling Drake, stuff like that. It is not there to just like put into play. Alright, they missed a land drop, which means their hand is all gas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. Stroking their Teferi will get you banned on Twitch. Oh no. Yeah, in general, so like the times when I counter their draw spells tend to be the moments when I don't have an answer to some of their threats. But like, I literally have every threat they can play here covered. I have Plaguecrafters and Contempts to cover Niv. I have Disdainful Strokes to cover Teferi's. Just like, I have a lot of the angles going on here in our favor. So like, unless they're presenting, they discard the hand size here, that's so good for us. Unless they're presenting a threat that I potentially don't have an answer to, I think I want to just, like, hang tight. And, like, Niv's, like, the best thing they can do here, and we literally just get to 1-for-1 Niv with Plaguecrafter. The fact that Plaguecrafter and Ravenous Chupacabra don't trigger Niv is very, very good for us. Blood Operative is a great card I can play out here, because unless they have a Syncopate for a bunch of mana, it gets to get into play. They kill it, and I'll pick it back up later. Exile your Lava Coil. Yeah, right? Like, they turned it into a draw 2 discard 1, which is just, like, very good for us. Like, they probably needed to, because, like, they're missing land drops here, but it still feels good on this side of the table. This actually gains us 3 life, which is great, because, like, they killed our guy, but, like, they gave us the health back to rebuy him later, because, like, eventually we're going to Surveil. Just like, this is the thing that's going to happen. I'm going to let this resolve because I can Vraska's Contempt it. There might be an argument to stroking it just because they do get to draw a card with it. If this gets a counterspell out of them, I then get to slam Disinformation Campaign and start generating value that way. So, like, this sequence I think ends up being okay for us. Would you look at that, chat? And now I get to Thought Erasure, which then picks this up and it picks my Blood Operative back up. Look at all these things they have here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Crackling Drake here because it's their threat, and I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I get to pick Disinformation Campaign back up, and I get to pick my Blood Operative up. Get to go ahead and play this Plaguecrafter out and kill the Crackling Drake. I feel like we're kind of ahead here, right? Especially when we're ahead on mana. That is a great one to draw. I would like to take a Justice Strike out of here. Wow, I can't believe they just let that resolve. Now I just definitely pass, right? And, like, I have these 2 Memorial to Folly hanging out over here on the left, so I can, like, pick the Plaguecrafter back up if I need to later. I've definitely played Ionize in Jeskai before. Hitting double blue consistently can be difficult in Jeskai. So, like, playing the slightly worse counterspell that's easier to cast is, like, not necessarily a bad thing. I like the consistent mana in this deck. I don't know, the Bolas deck is doing something powerful, but I think I like this one a little bit more. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass for now, because I'm gonna wait for them to kill this so I can so I Thought Erasure, because, like, once they kill this, the Thought Erasure picks this back up, which is nice. I have, like, just no reason to play into their counter spells here. Just, like, have this 3-1 in play, just, like, answer my 3-1 before I do anything else. Just, like, waiting is the name of the game. We've got on the board. They're gonna have to, like, spend mana to deal with this Blood Operative, and now because they've spent mana to deal with this Blood Operative, I'm then gonna get to force through multiple plays next turn and generate card advantage. So I'll go ahead and I'll Thought Erasure here. Yeah, so this is gonna get counterspelled, and if it doesn't get counterspelled, I just pick Blood Operative back up and replay it, right? And then I've actually got 8 mana left over after this resolves. So even after this resolves, I get to go Disinformation Campaign into Doom Whisperer if they counter this. No, I don't think so. I think they'd snap off a counterspell in the Disinformation Campaign, and I'd kind of rather they didn't. They have a Teferi. I think I just, like, take their card that wins the game. And, like, now, they're back in the spot that they were in previously, right? So, like, now, I got to pick this Blood Operative back up. And now I just get to replay the Blood Operative. So, like, are you going to counterspell my Blood Operative? If they don't counterspell the Blood Operative, they don't have an answer to it. And if they do counterspell it, I just, like, slam Disinformation Campaign and, like, take another card out of their hand and draw another card. And, like, God forbid I draw... Could you imagine if I draw Thought Erasure off the Disinformation Campaign, the game is just, like, over. Just, like, hit the point of no return. And like I still have Disdainful Stroke up here. So like you bin the Ionize and you can like invoke the Divine, kill my Disinformation Campaign, but like I've already buried you deep in the ground. And like next turn I literally get to go Doom Whisperer through this counterspell. And then like I have 2 Memorial to Folly like in my lands in play. I just like pick these creatures back up. They just let it resolve. They just let it resolve. That's so good for us, chat. Oh, I'll keep a Duress. I'll keep a Duress. Duress is pretty. I would like to pick this one back up. Is that allowed? Oh, did I forget to update that? Yeah, I think I forgot to update it. Still got the crappy old list, right? Yeah, I'll update it. I'll update it after the stream. Or after this match. No, I don't think we're in can't lose territory yet, but we're definitely getting close. Oh no! Oh no, they've killed my Blood Operative, chat. How will I ever win the game now? Oh no! Please, opponent, mercy! Mercy, opponent! Don't kill my Blood Operative! I'll never be able to win the game! Duress. If you want to beat blue-based control decks, this is the deck you want to play. This deck is very good at beating up the blue-based control decks. Alright, I'm gonna go to 5 here. Put my Blood Operative back into play. I am not gonna go to 3. Going to 3 seems greedy. I'm only gonna take one of these. I don't know what you're referring to, Slagblast. I honestly don't know. I've only played like a dozen or 2 dozen matches with it. It felt competitive in everything we played it against. Am I going to play Modern today? Nope, Tuesdays is all standard. You can always find my schedule on my website. My schedule not only includes the days that I'm playing Magic, but also what formats I intend to play on those days. So Modern, moving forward, is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we're going to be playing Standard on some of the other days. So I'm going to go ahead and Memorial to the Folly, pick my Plaguecrafter back up. This deck uses its health as a resource in a huge way. And the fact that Blood Operative just like enables you using your health total as a resource is quite fantastic. Do they have anything that doesn't get Disdainful Stroked that punishes me for doing this? I don't think so. So they need to find like, they need to find Counterspell plus their 5-mana sweeper. Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. I no longer have a scheduled stream on Thursdays. So my schedule is changing starting this week. They kept a card there. And they don't have enough mana to like activate Azcanta Sweeper and Counterspell, right? So like the Stroke should just be the game. Oh yeah, Banefire could have killed us there, right? Banefire would have been exactly 8. No, Banefire doesn't even kill me because I can Vraska's Contempt. What do I expect you to do on Thursdays? Watch replays. Yep, yeah, Wednesday nights too. And the nice thing about Wednesday nights and Fridays, I'm gonna be doing Friday afternoon into the evenings, is that I won't have a hard cutoff on those days. So like these daytime streams, I have to be done by like 3:30 at the absolute latest. Whereas on the other days, I won't have to do that because the kids will be asleep. Alrighty. While we're waiting for, well, before we start the next match, we don't have to even wait for a match to pop here on Arena. I'd like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. Welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I play a ton of Magic together, and I focus primarily on Constructed. We play Standard and Modern here on this channel, like we were just talking about. If you enjoy my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason that I'm able to do this full-time. I love Magic, and I love streaming, but they're the folks that keep me employed. They're the reasons that I'm able to be here 30 to 40 hours a week like I am. Past subscribing, you can support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that nice, close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/Hoogleshave. You can save $5 on your starter kit with them. And that starter kit is as little as $5 with no further commitment, or just $3 if you sign up for one of their recurring blade services. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards directly to other players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of great artwork that they have on their website. You can also find some of my own branded merchandise up there. We have a message deleted playmat as well as some wonderful Jester playmats. And speaking of Hoaglandia, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia today. Thanks for hanging out. Remember to hit that follow button if you enjoy what you see. And remember, if you can't catch everything that I do live based on my schedule, you can also find all of my stuff archived later on my YouTube channel. For instance, if you think this blue-black operative deck is really sweet, which it is, this is actually a deck we've played a couple of times previously since Standard rotated. And you can find all of the videos of this deck archived on my YouTube. Break everything up on there by deck so you can watch just the matches that you care about. Harry's versus Dollar Shave Club. So Harry's, the biggest difference between Harry's and Dollar Shave Club is that Harry's provides its own, or Harry's owns the manufacturing process for its blades. So while they're comparable in price, the quality on what you're able to get from Harry's for your money is generally superior because they're able to produce the blades at a lower cost because they own the manufacturing process. Jonesy, thank you for the 5-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Loving the new standard content, and thank you for the feedback on that. Definitely interested in hearing how people feel about new standard. As always, the people that support me, they dictate what we play, so happy that the people that keep me employed are enjoying some standard. Awesome. We've had a ton of standard donation decks too, which has been great too. I'm just like never beating this experimental frenzy, right? Hey, Yule of G, thank you very much for that brand new Prime support. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So Operative's been really good so far. That being said, it's kind of awkward in the face of Chain Whirler, right? It's kind of awkward in the face of Fanatical Firebrand. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and Discovery here, because I'd like to set up my 4th and ideally 5th land even to curve this Soot into this Doom Whisperer here. I still need to work out which deck I want to play on Arena Standard for a while. And it's who I personally picked to play. The Pirates deck we played today is my current favorite deck that I've played in this format. And it's going to be my #1 pick for things that I work on for the Invitational, just because I personally love playing tempo decks. They are my jam. So if there is a playable tempo deck, that's what I'm doing. If you're looking for a budget deck to get into any standard on Arena, Magic Online, paper, the mono blue tempo deck that we've played on stream is super cheap to build. It's got 4 rares and then commons and uncommons in it. Do I drink coffee? I do not. In general, I try not to really drink caffeine. The only caffeine I consume is generally via iced tea. Yeah, we played straight mono blue tempo last week. The deck was really sweet. My headset is just, I think the brand is Sades. It's basically just like the cheapest USB headset you can find on Amazon. I'm not really I have strong preferences about my audio quality. I just want to hear the noises that my computer's supposed to be making. I mean, Blood Operative isn't amazing in this matchup, but even in this matchup, it's like kind of okay. Like, if Blood Operative sticks and hits, it gains you a ton of life, which is what you want to be doing in a matchup like this. Yeah, it really is Hollow Man. I think people are going to be in for a lot of excitement in this standard format. I think there are a lot of people who started playing Magic in the last 2 years that have never experienced a truly great standard format. Sabotage is a great draw. I think I just need to start killing them here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just attack with this. So I can play this Blood Operative, hold up Sabotage, play the Staff Land. Right. And it's funny too, because like the extra text on Blood Operative is relevant in this matchup too, because it can like take risk factors out of their graveyard. Yeah, aggressively trading Blood Operative is definitely something we're in for. Yeah, if I get the option to here, I'm gonna trade Blood Operative for Runaway Steamkin. Or block Runaway Steamkin, just like gain 7 with it, basically. So I jumped on my buddy's stream last night and played blue-white-red control on 7-1. Yeah, awesome, Dumby. Yeah, honestly, just do it advice is just like the best I can give for if you want to do it, start doing it. And if it turns into something more, it's awesome. And if not, just enjoy what you're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit. Yeah, yes, exactly. Like, and this is again, we played a build earlier that didn't have 4 Doom Whisperers in it. Put 4 Doom Whisperers in your deck. I cannot instill in you enough how good 4 copies of Doom Whisperer is. It's very, very good. Someone earlier pointed out that we should be targeting instants and sorceries because of Gitu Lava Runner, so I'm going to correctly do that now. Which actually here, if I would have targeted a shock last time, their Gitus actually would be turned off at this point, but I just like needlessly clicked on an experimental frenzy. The incidental graveyard hate is very, very good in this format. We have 2 Ravenous Chupacabra in our main deck as well, because I think Chups is just like too good to not play. Wow. Wow, what is, do they have a, they must have a Whirly Boy here, right? Like, what could possibly, oh, they're playing another one. I thought they were blowing it up. I was like, wait, what? Sure? So they should be super dead here, right? Actually just dead to that. Let's go! This deck is great. Like I said, the people that are like burying their head in the sand and complaining about black-green right now, they're idiots and lazy. Get to work, people. There's a ton of sweet things in this format. All right, so I've got a couple of fungal infections, a couple more Moment of Cravings to bring in here. What do I want to trim? A couple of Disinformation Campaigns are probably fine cuts. Seems fine. Matchup's not really about grinding them out. I like that. Do I want this Dream Eater just as like another way to kill them? I kind of feel like I do, right? You could play another Eldest Reborn in the Dream Eater slot, or you could play another Plaguecrafter. I was thinking of Dream Eater as like another way. Oh, Duress could be good. Yeah, I like the idea of Duress. Like checking for ways that they could kill my Blood Operative seems fine too. I like the idea of Blood Rest. I like green black, and I don't want people to start playing Fox News against me. I think the black-green deck is good. I think it's almost certainly the best deck in the format, but I think this idea that it's like black-red mid-range from last format is nonsense. Duress is okay. Like, I have Thought Erasures in my deck, so like, I don't think there's a huge need for Duress, but bringing in a couple seems fine, especially on the draw. This hand could be a touch slow, because remember, my Thought Erasure, while its interaction, does not impact the board here. That is aggressive. I'm not sure that we're gonna beat that, chap. Let's take a peekaboo here, maybe learn some about how they sideboarded before we move along with our lives. Yeah, that's a Whirly Boy. I guess if I hit a fungal next turn. And this is why the mono red deck's good, right? We're just like never beating this draw. I guess this could find fungal. If this finds fungal, maybe we could stabilize in the back of these contempts. No thanks on that one. I guess we could find Ritual of Soot here too. So like we're taking 6 on board. They have 7, 8 in hand. If we find Soot, we could be in an okay spot. They might not attack with all these Firebrands. They probably should attack with all the Firebrands, right? Alright, so I get to play my boy Chups here. He's gonna kill the Whirly Boy. And like, if they have anything at this point other than lands, we're probably just dead. So we're just like, not even gonna think about that because you can't beat things, don't play around things is basically the golden rule. So... Come at me, bro. Oh, this is actually Jackal Girl. I missed the username. I bet they'd be okay with me calling them bro. Can bro be gender neutral? I feel like we've gotten to a point where bro can be gender neutral. Bro is the new dude. Okay, yeah, good. I felt like that's where we were at as a society, but I wanted to get another opinion. I feel like we could use bro and dude interchangeably. I think I'm pretty happy with how I sideboarded. I don't think I really want a third Duress. I think one Sabotage is fine. Bell Watts, thank you for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the continued support. It's just like, actually a Stone Cold Perfects. Just like my 4th land and a fungal infection. If I had to pick a deck to play in Standard, definitely Pirates. The Pirates deck has been awesome. Been very, very happy with the Pirates deck. I think I'm just passing here. I think they're probably going to play Whirly Boy here on 3, or some other threat, and then I'll untap and Ritual of Soot. If they just pass here again, I'm going to Fungal Infection this. Yeah, that feels bad. Any changes to the Pirates? I would think about the sideboard plans. I talked about them a little bit at the end. I'm not 100% confident I like all the sideboard plans I have for the deck currently. I think it might have too many cards for the control matchup. Bro is the new dude, but both are still gendered terms. People aren't offended, but it does reflect a male-dominated culture. That's fair. There's the Whirly Boy. I think I'm gonna Duress plus Soot here. I might Duress plus Contempt. Let's see what their hand looks like. All right, Duress plus Soot it is. We actually put ourselves in a really good spot here now, right? Don't be afraid to 1-for-1 your sweepers. Where can we get a peek at my standard deck list? Well, you can actually read about both this deck and my thoughts on this one and the Pirates deck in my article on cool stuffing tomorrow. I see you've got a sub there next to your name, Belwas. If you pop in the subs Discord server, you'll be able to check the article previews channel where I post my unformatted articles. So there's some typos. My editor hasn't been at them yet, but you can always get my thoughts a little bit earlier if you're one of my subs. According to data miners, Arena's Eternal Form will start with Shadows over Innistrad. That sounds great. I think Shadows over Innistrad is a great place to start a new format. It's okay now. God bless you, Marty. Marty's like the grease that keeps the wheels of Hooglandia running. This is the big boy. What's our record? I have no idea. One of the nice things about playing on here is it doesn't keep track of the record. This deck feels good, and we've been winning more than we've been losing, I'm confident to say. What's the exact record? I don't know. Looking at just the record doesn't paint a relevant picture of a lot of things, in my opinion. And again, just like big Doom Boy here, just like smashing on through. And like, even if they take this dork off the table here at some point, like if they double strike this, I have 2 Memorial to Follies in play, right? So like, we're just gonna pick this guy back up. Eva Dude, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support there. I appreciate that. No, when I play decks on Arena, there's a best of 3 ladder, so I just play on the ladder, so we have the flexibility to like make changes to a deck in between. Prevents a lot of feel bads if there's like small mistakes that need to be fixed. Play more utility lands, chat. They're good. Turn your lands into spells. What would your plan be against your blue-red tempo deck versus Owling Mine? I have a Hogladoff in my league this week. That's definitely all the counterspells come in matchup, I think. Favorite spell land in standard or in general, like in modern? There's a ton of sweet spell lands in modern. They could be holding a land tier, but I kind of just want to surveil, right? They could also like have a lightning strike and now like it's gonna go upstairs instead of getting 2 burn spells to kill my Doom Whisperer, which is nice for us. Yeah, not in for Ritual of Soot at this point. I love that Thought Erasure is a discard spell that like has text when you draw it on turn 12 like this. No, you have the best of 3 ladder at every point. You just need to enable it in your settings. And I can show you how to enable that here after this match is done. Looks like we're about to finish this one up. It's hard for the, like she's drawn, they've drawn 9 lands here and 18 cards, so 50% lands is tough enough for the red deck to crack. Nantuko Monastery. Would you believe that Nantuko Monastery is one of the few Magic the Gathering cards I own? It's right here. I should frame this bad boy. I should get a foil and frame this bad boy. Nantuko Monastery. Alright, so those of you that are diving into Arena, one of the things the tutorial doesn't mention is up here in the upper right behind my picture, you see how this says all play modes? If you click on this, Arena play modes is the default, and you need to slide this over to all play modes to unlock the competitive play on the ladder, which is the best of 3 mode. So. Tutorial actually does mention it. Okay, that's good to know. I definitely skipped the tutorial. I feel like if you skip the tutorial, it should mention that. So anywho, if you're looking to play blue-black in standard, I am a big fan of this configuration of this deck. If you're looking to grind people out, I think it's a great choice. Yeah, good game, Jackal. A little flooded in the last one. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this configuration. I'll have some further thoughts on why I think this deck is awesome in my article tomorrow on Cool Stuff, like I said. And then we got one more deck to get to today, which I think I actually don't have. So, again, to give a lesson on how this works. Nope.